Here is an '08 Dodge Avenger SXT, and it has 160 something miles on it. I can't remember. 165,355. And this is another one of the cars that I've gotten from the salvage auction. It has a rebuilt salvage title, which doesn't affect anything on insurance or anything like that. The damage happened over here. I've already replaced the fender, and I'm going to try to straighten that out with some pliers and just make it look a little bit better. We have the wheel off now because I have a new spindle. I have a new knuckle, spindle, whatever you want to call it, disassembly behind the rotor. We're going to replace that because it needs new wheel bearings. And instead of just getting new wheel bearings pressed in and stuff, it is cheaper to just go ahead and replace the actual knuckle. So that's what I'm going to do there. And let's do a quick little walk around. So here it is. There's not a whole lot of body damage at all besides that driver or passenger side fender. The tires still have decent tread. They're alloy wheels. Here's a shot of the interior. It still needs detailed, like pretty good. I'm just taking this video so that way you can see what it looked like when I got it. So maybe you can have some appreciation for the work that has gone into it. I don't know if you're going to be buying it to flip it or buying it to use it, but either way it goes, when you get to it, it's gonna be in a lot nicer shape than what it was when I got to it. And a lot of guys and girls, a lot of people lowball you, which is part of the business, but I feel like this will help with well, I mean, it'll help you with making a decision on whether or not you want to buy it, and it'll help me with advertising. You know, this is what I have to offer. It's just looks a little funky right there because it's jacked up so high on the other side. So yeah, it'll be detailed. I'm going to try to get a lot of these stains out of the carpets. That's actually pretty hard to do. It's a little tear, a little damage here. And that kind of seems like the only real damage to the interior. Let me see if I can get a shot of the VIN number. And there it is right there, so feel free to look that up if you want. I don't care. So yeah, that is the '08 Dodge Avenger. Another shot of the tire there. Let me do another one of this tire. There's good tread on the tires. It is front wheel drive, and it's got a 2.4 liter engine. Let's see if we can see the brake pads. There's the rotor. So it's got pads. They do need replaced though, and it's 4 calipers, so you can kind of see the pads on the back. The pads on the brake pads on the back, or the rear brakes rather, usually last longer because most of your stopping power is in the front of the car. We just now got the knuckle off the wheel. Some people call it a knuckle, some people call it a cylinder. I can't remember what else it's called, but here's the new piece. It's a new used piece from a junkyard. There's the markings from it, but it's in pretty good shape. It looks pretty new actually, but I figured it would be safer to just go ahead and get a new one, or a different one, a whole new different one. And here's the what's that called? The ABS thing, majigger. And so we got that pulled off. Here's the old one. I'm thinking that the wheel cylinder went bad because it was hit on this side, and I figured that instead of having this piece here pulled off and have the new wheel bearing pressed in, it would be safer to just go ahead and get a whole new piece in case there's like damage to the actual knuckle. So hopefully this will fix the issue and we'll get it thrown on there. So we're almost done with the spindle, or the knuckle, whatever you want to call it. But I figured this would be a good time to get a better look at the brake pads for you guys. So as you can see, there's still plenty of meat left. And we're back with the knuckle slash spindle, whatever you want to call it. It's completely on. We had to take the caliper off, the axle had to come out, the tie rod end, the lower control arm, and the shock, and the ABS sensor. All that had to be undone to get the old one off. So as you can see, it's all put back together. I'm about to throw the wheel on and then move on to the detail. So I'm finishing up the detail for this 08 Avenger, and I noticed that it's leaking, like there's water getting in down here, and I'm betting it's because of the where the seal is for the window. And I also wanted to do a little drive back to the shop in this so you can hear the wheel bearing or whatever, because I'm thinking that the issue is on the other side, not the passenger side. All right, here we go. You can hear it. It sounds terrible. I thought for sure it was on the passenger side. I'm gonna jack up the car and wiggle the wheel back and forth on the top and bottom of the wheel and tire, because that's how you check a wheel bearing to see if it's good or bad. And I'm gonna see if it's bad on the driver's side. Here's a shot from the driver. Here's a shot from the driver's seat. And as I said, you know, that water's pulling up pretty good. And I think that water is pulling up from this little piece right here. There, actually, right fucking there is a hole right there. This windshield needs resealed. So that will definitely reflect in the price of the car, though, for sure. So yesterday you saw me replace the hub assembly, the knuckle, whatever you want to call it. You saw me replace that on the passenger side of the car. And the way you test for a bad wheel bearing is you grab the top of the tire and the bottom of the tire and you shimmy it back and forth like so. So I don't know if you can hear that, but it is definitely shaking back and forth. And it's not supposed to do that. The lug nuts are tight, so it's definitely a bad wheel bearing. What I'm going to do is I'll go back to the junkyard where I got the other part from, have them pull this side, and then I'll just replace this side as well. I have to take these two bolts off for the shock and to separate from the knuckle, and then I have to disconnect this little clamp here. This is the ABS, and then this where is it at? That sensor there has to come off. The tie rod end. You have to take the brake caliper off. You have to undo the axle and get it out, and then also you have to do the lower control arm and get that off. Then throw on the new used junkyard part here. It's the piece I got from ABC Auto Parts on Olive, and it came off the same vehicle that knuckle came off of. So here's a good chance to show the brake pads on the driver's side, and the pads on the passenger side were way better than this side. There's not a whole lot of meat left there on that pad, so it's going to need pads for sure. I would go ahead and do the front and back. I'm not going to do them because that's just more money. It might even need a caliper because that piston looks like it's busted. The car still stops and goes just fine, so yeah, I just thought I'd show that real quick. I just got the knuckle off, and there's a shot of it, the driver's side being off. There it is laying over there on the ground. The what's that called? The ABS ended up snapping off in this one, and it took a while to get the right there is the ABS sensor in the hub, and it took a while to get that out because you had to go up into the engine bay and fish it out, and it was a pain in the butt. But now I am about to install the new used hub assembly, and I'll get a shot of that once it's done. I just got her all put back together. Everything's tightened down. I sprayed all the bolts and every metal piece that comes in contact with any other metal. I made sure to spray down with WD-40 to try to keep it all from rusting and all that. Everything is tight. Now I'm just gonna throw that wheel back on. Oh, I do gotta plug in the ABS sensor, but once that's done, I'm gonna throw that wheel back on and then take it for a test drive and see if it sounds any better. So I just got the hub assembly back on and the wheel back on, and I just wanted to show the shake test, just to show that the wheel bearings are fixed. So I'm thinking that, so I'm willing to bet that the wheel bearing noise will be gone when we take it on the test drive. And it's not making any noise. There's no play in it at all. You can hear the rotor spinning in the brake pads, but there's no wheel bearing play at all, so that's a good sign. I figured I would go ahead and patch up the hole that was underneath the windshield there, and all I did was use some flex tape and some seal all to cover that hole. And that tape is supposed to be waterproof, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit and take it outside and do the whole test drive and all that good stuff. I just got the wheels and stuff back on, and I took it out, and if you listen, it's making like a rubbing sound. I don't know if you can hear that on the video, but the wheel bearing sound is gone, which is a plus. And I think that sound is either the brake dust blocker thing on the hub assembly, or it is the rotor. But I mean, you can tell that the wheel bearing sound is gone completely, so that's a plus. That rubbing sound, and that sound is starting to get a little bit quieter the more that I drive the car around. I've been driving it in a circle around my neighborhood for, like, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes. So, but here I might as well do a little shot of the coolant temperature gauge, and that's under cool, and it has been driven here for like the past 5-10 minutes. So listen to it shift in from park to reverse. So there's no issues, there's no clunks or anything when it shifts, when you're shifting it with the shift knob. I'm going to go around the back end of the neighborhood and turn onto 35 and get it up to highway speeds, and so that way we can make sure that nothing's gonna break or anything like that. And also you'll be able to see it at that speed and whatnot. So the tire pressure sensor is showing low because the tire loses air, so that's not really a big deal. It's been sitting in my shop for like a good week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. Alright, here we go. I'm gonna get it up to speed. There's no clunks. Let me let go of the wheel here. It's not pulling one way or the other. You can hear that the wheel bearing sound is gone. I think also that sound that we are hearing, I'm pretty sure that it's the rubbing of the rotor in between the brake pads, and I think that if we were to put new pads on, it would fix that. I'm not putting new pads on it because I'm not going to be able to get what I need to get out of this car anyways. So that's just gonna have to sit like that. So it's not very expensive to buy pads and put pads on. That is the test drive, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, and pick it up back when I am done detailing the car completely. Finally, it's all done. The Avenger there's nothing left besides to take this last video clip and edit it and post it. So the detail's all done. She's been taken to a car wash, and I just touched it up a little bit with the instant detailer. You can see that this is the nicest she's gonna look in a long time, just because of the weather. So I figured I wouldn't go too far into it. I'll just do a quick walk around. I'll open up the doors as I'm doing that. Never mind the mess in there. That's just that could be vacuumed out really quickly. That's just from test driving it and taking it to the car wash and all that stuff. This is an 08 Dodge Avenger. I don't remember how many miles is on it. It's well under 200,000 miles. It needs brake pads. It needs, eventually it will need the windshield seal around the edge of the windshield. Will need replaced or repaired properly. The fender up here needs painted. But as far as I can remember off the top of my head right now, that's about it. It's the SXT trim package, so it's all leather, heated seats, the heat works, the AC does not work, I don't know, but that's it. It needs front brake pads. I'm gonna go ahead and say it needs rear brake pads, and this fender needs replaced. This is cosmetic. It doesn't affect the drivability of the car at all, but that's for, I mean, if you want to replace that, go ahead, but this is a good running and driving car. It looks fairly good. It has 165,384 miles on it. It's been running since the test drive, and it is still in the middle of the operating temperature, so it's not overheating. The radio works. Oh wait, let me turn it on. That works. Everything works. Like I said, good running and driving car. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions or concerns, please call the number in the post or leave a comment down below. But that's everything on this one, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.